What's up, everybody? Okay, so I finally made it to Romania. This is a country I've been wanting to visit for a long time now, since I was a little kid and I was playing the Castlevania video games and it inspired me to check out more of Romania. And I'm pretty excited because there's a lot of castles here, a couple of haunted forests. Let's see what that's all about. And right now I am in Bucharest, the capital city, and behind me is this gigantic Palace of Parliament. It was built in just 5 years, from 1984 to 1989 by Romania's megalomaniacal, oppressive, communist dictator named Ceausescu. Talk more about him later on, but it was completed in 5 years because he had people working around the clock. Nobody really knows for sure how many people worked on it, but some estimates are about 1 million. So unfortunately it's closed until October 1st, which is in about another week. So thinking about coming back, making a separate video on that because it seems really awesome inside, despite its kind of gothic appearance. I don't know, I'm not really good with architecture, but yeah, it's supposed to be completely different than what the outside shows. Okay, so as I cross the street illegally and walk into the sun, let me show you around a little bit. First of all, Bucharest has a lot of fountains. I've seen them all over the city. It's crazy how obsessed they are with fountains, but they look nice. I have not seen one ugly fountain since I've been here, so makes the trip worth it. So right now I'm walking towards the park. I'm gonna go to the old part of town, which I don't think it's that old. I was heard that a lot of it has been built within the past few years, but it looks old. And right now, ran into even more fountains. Check it out. Fountains everywhere. Told you. So I'm here at Old Town Bucharest, and it's old because the buildings are old, the streets are old, but pretty much all of the businesses here are less than 15 years old. So it's kind of a misnomer, but still old town. And it doesn't really get started until, I don't know, 4 p.m. A lot of places here open between like noon and 4, and then the nightlife here is supposed to be pretty awesome. There's a lot of bars, a lot of strip clubs. You're into throwing your money away. There is quite a lot to do and see here. I think you can expect to pay on average between $7 to $10 for a meal, and you can expect to pay about that much for a drink as well, from a beer to cocktails. So the drinks are a bit more expensive than I thought. Just by looking at the menu, I haven't really tried the downtown cuisine yet, but I did look through several menus and saw that all the prices were about the same, and that's what they were. So anyway, here's some more footage. So another cool thing about Bucharest, besides all of the water fountains, are all of the different types of buildings you will find around the city. It's pretty incredible how many different styles of buildings there are. A lot of them you can tell were built during the communism days, and I mean a lot of them are fairly recent. What I think is an interesting contrast are all of the communism buildings downtown, or the buildings that were built during communism downtown, with giant signs of multinational corporations on them. I just found that to be interesting. So I am now standing around what is known as Revolutionary Square, and behind me is the National Art Museum. And this is the place where the communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu gave his final speech on December 21st, 1989. And there was a period of unrest. His wife, Elena, who was second in command of the country, ordered the military to fire upon protesters in the western town of Timișoara. These protesters were protecting a priest who had been critical of Ceausescu and was being evicted. So people were protecting him from that happening. And that just created a storm, a ripple effect across the country. And when Ceausescu got back from Iran, he decided to give a speech addressing the country, and he tried to calm them down, and they started booing him. And what's pretty incredible is you can see the exact moment where he realizes that his time is up, that he's no longer going to be in power anymore. And what followed after that was unlike anything in what we saw happen during the fall of communism. He and his wife were put on trial. It was a show trial. It took like an hour. And then they were found guilty of hoarding wealth and genocide. And they were summarily executed on December 25th, 1989. They were taken out and shot, and it was broadcast on television. And yeah, it was a pretty incredible thing that happened. After that, one of his guys in the Communist Party who had been kind of critical of him. His name escapes me now. I'll write it at the bottom of the screen. He took over, and he tried to continue the communist model, but people didn't want that. They wanted to move towards a free market economy, just like the rest of the West. And that's what he promised to do. So in the next election, they voted him back in office, and that's what he did. So a little quick history about the Romanian Revolution and their communist leader, Ceausescu. So things weren't terrible. He started out in 1965. Things weren't terrible until about the mid-70s when he visited North Korea. The leader was Kim Il-sung at that point. And he was impressed by their architecture, and he was impressed by the totalitarian state that he was building and the security apparatuses that he had going. So when Ceausescu got back, he decided to start implementing his own security state, his own secret police. And he plunged his country into massive amounts of debt during that time. And in the 80s, he tried to make up for it by essentially banning all imports and only allowing exports. I mean, he ended up paying back all the debt, but the country was in ruins. He was living a lavish lifestyle. As I mentioned earlier, that was when the Palace of Parliament was built, and the people got fed up. And in 1989, well, they did away with him. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that quick tour of Bucharest. There was a lot that I didn't get to, but there's 1.8 million people in this city, so there's a lot going on. But I think I covered the most important parts. The nightlife, the architecture, the fountains, the history. So I think I'm going to end my day with some friends at Therm, Europe's largest wellness center. They have multiple pools, heated pools, outdoor pools, water slides, spas. It's supposed to be a lot of fun. So I'm ready to check that out. And that's about it for today. I think I'm going to Brasov next. Not entirely sure, but that's likely where I'll end up. So I'll make another video about that, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, bye.